Just to show, just to give a brief background, Rob and I started this chapter way back in '85, I believe, when the Amigas first came out and Computer Factory was selling them, and everybody had one, or not everybody, but a lot of people had one, and no one could do anything with it because there wasn't any software. And as a matter of fact, they were selling 1000s and they didn't even have the 256K upgrade. So, and people still were absolutely thrilled with it. But since then, this unit has got me into work for MTV for 2 years, and I went out to the coast, worked for Disney, Walt Disney Television Animations for 2 years, and finally came back to New York to probably get married. And I've been working now for ABC and MTV, been going back and forth. So there's a lot to be done with this, and we're getting this into a lot of facilities. Now with the toaster, now that the signals are better and that you really can do a lot more with video with this, a lot more production houses are interested in this. So with demos like we've been giving and getting this machine in through sheer, giving it to an engineer who says, wow, this is great, and having him show it to his boss, and it's been real hard, but they're first starting to make their way. So I see in the future, in the recent future, a lot of opportunities opening up for people who are really interested in the Amiga in these places. Well, basically tonight, this is the toaster. This is finally, it is finally out, but it is still a gamma version, and it will crash a lot. So there's a few things that I can't do. If any of you are real interested in finding an update about it, Tim Jennison, the president of NewTek, and Mark Randall, the president of marketing, are flying in this Monday to meet with me and to provide me with new software, and they will give me an update on how, well, it crashes a lot now, so hopefully they'll be able to give me new software and give me an update on when these things are going to start shipping in demand and supply and quantities. Yeah, there you go.
Forget quality.
Yes. Quality. So before I begin, does anybody have any questions? I mean, because it's going to be real. The toaster can do a lot of things, but it's a real hot production tool. So giving a normal demo like you would for a regular software package is probably more difficult to do with this. So before I begin, I just want to know if there's any questions. I really would like this to be informative, so if everyone want to come around and look at it and touch it, play with it, ask me what these things do, it's probably easier to do that than to sit here and go, oh, this does this and this does this.
What does it do?
What does it do? I'll go through the basic. Well, I mean, I'm probably overshooting myself here because I don't know how many of you, by this time you figure every Amiga person knows everything there is to know, read everything there is to know about the toaster and just wants to see it work. But I'm sure there's some of you who don't know what it is. Basically, it's a video switcher. It's a 4-input video switcher. It's a digital frame store. It stores, I can grab 8 fields instantly. That's 2 color fields, 2 actual frames of animation, actually 4 frames of 2 color frames of video. It is a character generator. It is a color Chroma effects rotoscoping device. It is a semi-decent paint box, 24-bit. It is a 24-bit frame buffer, and it has 24-bit 3D built in also. All this comes for the amazing price of $15.95, and it also is a real high-quality genlock. So even if it did nothing, it's as good as the Super Gen 2000S, and right now I believe it's $400 cheaper, going by list prices. So if nothing else, it does that. Basically, what we've done here. Well, let me go into. I'm sure all of you heard about the TVC. Are any of you interested in what is the real story with TVCs and cameras and what can it do and what can it do?
Time-based corrector, when are they going to get cheap?
Time-based correctors are going to get the circuitry is real expensive now, and since it's a pro, it's basically that not enough people want them. That facilities have been buying them, and Sony and 4A and other companies like that can sell them to facilities for $5,000 to $8,000, and these facilities won't blink an eye. But now when consumer is in demand for time-based correctors, the prices are already dropping. What used to be $5,000, you can get time-based correctors now for probably under $3,000, which still is a lot of money to most people, but you know, to people like myself, that puts it into the category where, you know, I can get these things now, which before I couldn't.
2,400 for the IDENs.
Excuse me?
The IDENs is 2,400
Yeah,
without
see?
not even trying.
2,400.
Was there any,
Wow.
anything in the works between NewTek and the Japanese company, for instance, or an American company to get a cheap time-based?
Yeah, NewTek, I can't really go into their policy because I don't, you know, a lot of the NewTek is playing this thing real secret. Because they know they have a tiger by the tail with this, and they want to do is, you know, they want to give out a little press as they can. But they're working with other companies. NewTek itself is looking, you know, involved with. Right now, I'll be honest, they're in a cash crunch situation. This is what I believe. This is not NewTek's standpoint, but they're looking to get as many of these things sold as possible because it's been, as everyone knows, it's been a long time in the development, and it hasn't been very inexpensive. It's been very costly development. So that most of the money right now is going to that. But I know they have on the table inexpensive time-based correctors. That's probably the next. If things go the way they should, you'll see that in 6 months to a year.
Would that be from NewTek?
That would probably be from NewTek or from under the toaster label, but made the same way that Apple does most of its stuff. It buys like a Sony hard drive and packages it under the Apple or Macintosh name. Yes?
2 questions.
Yes.
One, hopefully, is a simple one, and either you know it or you don't. What made them decide on the particular name, video toaster?
See, that I couldn't tell. Rob may be able to...
Just out of curiosity.
The only guess I would have is because it does everything. It's just, you know, it's make toast.
I think it started... If any of you
Bad
read...
guess, Rob.
If any of you read Amazing Computing, there was a columnist. I'm not sure if he's still with them. I've been so out of this for a while, but Amazing Computing used to have a column called The Bandito, called Rumors, written by the Bandito. It's still there. Okay, I don't know if the author is still the same, but it used to be written by John Faust. That was the Bandito. Well, John Faust had his handle on everything, and he knew things faster than the companies that were making them knew them. And he would have, and this is my, I don't know if this is the real story either, but this is my interpretation. He would have real catchy, cute names for things under the rumors, so he wouldn't actually say, this is coming out, it's going to do this. He would say, oh, I just heard about this new piece of software, and it would do this, and he would do it in a cute, you know, fun way. And NewTek has always tried to keep this thing under wraps, so I think what he did is on close to Christmas one time, he talked about this new thing that some company was making, which was rumored to be a video toaster, and it could slice, dice, and, you know, all the rest, chew up video and spit it back out, and that may be where it came from. Okay. Second question?
Okay, now, it's more technical.
Yes.
You're talking about all the things it can do, and I don't mean what you just mentioned. I mean, you know,
Right.
and then all the stuff I've read. The one thing I haven't come across yet, and I haven't done that much research on it, but has anyone compared as to whether it'll work better with complete 32-bit, you know, movement within the Amiga as opposed to using any 16-bit chips?
In other words, would it work better with a 6830
Right.
and it's 32-bit RAM? Or?
Yeah, except I'm not talking about the speed aspect. I'm talking about just the 32-bit path as opposed to the speed.
Well,
Because, you know, you understand what I'm saying?
I don't understand exactly what you're saying, I think.
Because there are some programs that could conceivably work better on the 32-bit path and crash if you speed it up.
Right.
But, you know, that type of thing.
Well, I mean, I could give you some
And have you
basic...
compared?
Yeah, I can give you some basic, you know, configurations that it's worked in, and maybe you can make your own determination. It will not work in a 3000 because of size and also because of other things which no one's absolutely positively sure of, but both companies are working to correct that. But right now it'll only work in the 2500. There have been some rumors of people leaving the covers off of a 3000 and running the toaster, but it gets so hot it's either fried the machine or fried the toaster, or they've had to only be able to use it for an hour before having to pull it out because of the heat that's generated. So basically, it will not work in 3000 as of yet. This is a 6830 machine. This has the Commodore 2630 card. Or
It won't work in a 2000 or?
yeah, it'll work in it. You know, if I switch this back to 68,000 mode, it will work on a standard 68,000.
But that's the speed, not the data path, unfortunately.
Excuse me?
That's the speed, not the data path that you're talking about. You see, what I'm saying is that I know that what I'm saying is, has anyone tried just comparing it with a true 32-bit data pad?
Well, they can't because it won't work in a 3000. And that's the only machine with a true 32-bit data pad that
They
it
haven't
ships.
used any jumpers to
So the
it?
chipset's still 16 bits.
Oh, that's right. You're
Yes,
right.
it's
So,
not
there-
a
so
chipset.
yeah, it still has.
32-bit
The
chipset.
toaster is itself a computer.
Uh-huh.
It does. The software does run off the Amiga, but basically everything it does is from within itself.
Uh-huh.
The only thing it uses on the Amiga, besides it's a video signal and timing signals, as basic as I can get. Timing signals control how fast the CRT refreshes, the intervals between when it stops here and goes back, all that necessary information. Well, when you play off a videotape, you have the same problem you have in a car. You've heard of wow and flutter off cassette tapes? The mechanism of the tape head is not stable enough to produce solid timing signals. So a time-based corrector strips time-based signals and sends them in it jumps around the tape. So it provides you with, it's not a great way to explain it, provides you with stable time-based signals. It strips them from the tape, then adds them to the output. So you get your timing from the time-based corrector, your timing signals, which are absolutely rock solid. You're getting your video information. So what it does is it bypasses the tape mechanism's timing signals.
But to do that, it has to buffer the video signal so that it can apply the timing signal at the right point to send the video signal
Well,
out.
some of them do. The ones that are around now do that. The other ones didn't. The other ones worked on an analog signal and had separate filters that would filter this stuff out, and those obviously aren't as good. But there's a lot of those around. 4A still uses that technology, but you're right. Now a lot of time-based correctors do it digitally because of the advances in digital video. They can do it fast enough. So now when you buy a time-based corrector, you get all these great things that a few years ago you couldn't, like digital freeze frames and some color correction, more so than you used to have. So at that point, that's what that does. Now, if you're going to be running this off a tape, you need one because of that problem. The tape mechanism can't put out a steady enough signal. So that's where the TVC comes into this. And you need one for every tape you have.
And you're not necessarily, not necessarily talking about consumer decks. These would be, time-based corrector would be something that would be used with a professional.
Yeah,
Any
see,
deck.
they're getting into the touchy
Package of
realm of
storage.
video. See, there's so many different levels from consumer to industrial. You can use a time-based corrector with any video equipment. But the point is that if you're using a $3,000 time-based corrector or a $200 video deck, your signal is only going to be as good. So it doesn't improve the signal, doesn't do anything, just allows you, which is a big pain, for a lot of people, it's a big pain, so they don't really understand it because it doesn't do anything.
It's really synchronizing. Like MIDI, in a sense, would be, you can use MIDI to synchronize or syntape to synchronize.
To a certain point, right. It gives you a perfect signal so you can. Now cameras themselves, one of the things I wanted to get into is you can see here, this is a preview monitor. And this is feeding, I don't know which camera it's feeding now. I forgot which one I had it hooked up to what. Okay, this is camera 2. So this is the preview monitor. This is your program monitor. The toaster will work with 2 monitors.
With no TVC.
Excuse me?
You have 2 cameras and no TVC.
If you have 2 cameras and one of them is genlockable, like this one is, it has an input that says video in or genlock. If your camera has that, you can slave what's called slaving. You can slave everything to one camera. Now that camera isn't genlockable, so we're using that one to slave this camera and the toaster. It's the way that Amiga Genlock works in your system. Amiga Genlock does the same thing. It strips the timing signals, adds the Amiga timing signals to your video. Now, depending on how good your Genlock is, those timing signals can be real great or can be real crappy. So what we're doing now is we're doing the same thing your Genlock and your Amiga is doing. We're just doing it through this camera, through the toaster. We're just taking it one step further. So the toaster won't work. It needs an RGB monitor. So that's a pain because people with flicker fixtures like myself and multi-sync monitors to get a de-interlaced picture can't use it anymore. But it'll work well
But
with...
even with the adapter on the computer?
I've never tried it. It may work with that.
I mean, the microwave claims it will,
Yeah, I haven't really tried, so that may be...
because it's only a $50 adapter.
Yeah, I haven't, but it needs to be soldered in. I haven't, this thing just gets bounced around so much that I didn't feel it was worth it. Plus, you carry around 3, for really a toaster, the 1084 is like, or any of the Commodore monitors is the perfect solution because you need at least 2 monitors, and both of them can be this. It needs to For the toaster to work, it needs to have the RGB connected. You can use this monitor as your preview monitor, and a second monitor is your program monitor. So basically, what you can do is, these are analog video effects. Okay, now you people make lots of motion. You can see that, let me slow this down, that there is video. You can make some motion over there. You can see that the video is live. It's doing live effects on live video.
Live effects on live video.
Live effects, real-time effects on live video.
In other words, what's being brought in is not frozen, it's actual live.
Exactly. What's being brought in isn't frozen. You can freeze what's being brought in.
Why are there two differences with the picture?
Well, that's this camera. This is
Garbage camera.
Oh,
It's also
well,
on a white splitter.
yeah. Well, that's another thing. Since we're
50
slaving
bucks.
everything to this camera, our signal's only going to be as good as that. Our timing signals at least are only
You
going to be
got
as
two
good. As,
decent cameras, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, and it would be very close in the quality of the picture.
yeah, all the time. And it's great. Also, this has a real good freeze, as you can see here. Now, unfortunately, I took it off the Chroma camera. There we go. So,
Come on, Chris, move so we can prove it.
so that's actually a frozen picture. That's why if people want to come up or get closer later, it's easier to see. But that's frozen video, and it's as clean as the original signal. So you can actually, if I go from, let's see, let me go from 2 to 2 here. You can even do effects. A lot of times what we do is we do effects between, well, it's hard to see on the same signal, but between live motion video and a frozen image. So basically, if you wanted to do a certain effect, you could, for instance, if you wanted to do an edit between two people talking, a real dramatic way of doing it is to have this, to film this guy talking or whatever, and then freeze it at his, the last moment as he makes his, his perfect point, and then dissolve right into your second camera, or just then you have this, and you can move the camera. I'm sorry, this camera. Move the camera, dissolve into the next scene. So you can actually get by. We've done commercials. You'll see commercials on MTV and ESPN that we've been doing in the last 2 months with this, all in one camera jobs. One real easy one is the CD City commercial, where we've panned down, a perfect example, we panned down a row of tape decks and we stopped the last tape deck, freeze it, move the camera to the receivers, and then do just a great TVC move.
You really only need one camera then.
Yeah, you really do only need one camera. So that's, if you're creative and you can, it's not, a lot of this can be done here in such a neat way that that's all you need. So that's what we would do. Let's say this would be our frozen, well, actually that's not our frozen. This is our frozen row of tape decks. You set up the second camera to show the receivers. Actually, that's on the side. Show the receivers, and boom, we flip in. When you go back into your editing studio, if you edit these stuff at home, it's flawless. It looks like you moved, that piece of video flew away, and it's as good as anything that's done on MTV or anything else. And I can say that from experience, since I work for MTV and we use this at MTV, or we're going to use it more. We've used the Amiga, now we're going to start to use the toaster. So let me go through the actual toaster. If people have questions, please ask.
I did wonder,
Yeah.
I'd heard that it doesn't multitask at all, so does that mean you can't use it with Amiga Vision or the Deluxe Video?
Certain tools do multitask, but no, you can't. The only way, there is no feed into the Amiga itself. So let me give you the down points about this right now is that you can't, unless you have a second Amiga, you can't fade. If you have stuff or animations that you've done in Amiga, with your Amiga, you can't fade into or out of them. You can't run them through the toaster. Toaster will, after exiting a toaster program, will act as a genlock. So that if you do want to lay that stuff to tape and then add toaster effects afterwards, you can do it like that, which is a real easy way of doing
So
it.
you can use the second Amiga as another video.
You can use the second Amiga, yeah. If you have a second Amiga, use the second Amiga. And hook it up as one of your, you have 4 buses here. You have 4 inputs. 2 digital video inputs, which are generated by the toaster. Okay, here's what's known as a transport. It's a basic Star Trek effect. We have Rob. Oops. Let's see what we got here. There's Rob. Okay. Stay still for a second there, Rob. Okay, there's Rob. Rob will now move. He will leave. And, just like in Star Trek, Rob will disappear. Now, let's, Rob, sit down. Yeah, if you go, I'm sorry, you gotta move out of the way though. Your arm was like.
Can you slow that down?
Shit. Oh yeah.
Make it look
Oh yeah.
more effective.
Sure. Rob, do you mind getting into the scene and maybe bring Rob back?
Maybe we can get the group to do the sound.
Bring him back. Fuzz it.
And we can bring Rob back.
Very nice.
That's one of the toaster has both analog and digital effects. Some of what you were seeing before, the switchers, the basic switcher is, I mean, this stuff is a basic analog effect, and you can see the difference. And it has effects like kick puppy.
Well, that's what that bounce was?
Yeah.
It was Rob shaking the camera.
It has page peels and page turns built in. That's not a good. I'll show you a better one.
Oh, that's
Slow
nice.
this down.
Whoa, that's
Oh.
Okay. It has. Let me slow these down.
Open the doors.
Yeah, the doors that open. You have 3 speeds. This is basically, they basically set it up as an ADO that has preset moves in it. So unfortunately, unlike an ADO, you can't pick your video, size it, say go from here to here to here, and do it and program it like that. But basically, from within all these moves, they give you enough of the basic moves that you can do anything you've ever dreamed of doing.
What about peeling from one corner down to the other?
It won't do that. That's a real tough thing to do because you're working on both. You're adjusting the vertical and horizontal blanking at the same time. That's real sophisticated. But one thing that's interesting, in the software, all of these have code. There's a directory. So these are not hard set in here, which leads me to believe that in very near future, we should be able to, or the user should be able to program his own moves and effects within the limits of the toaster.
Or toaster effect discs.
Yeah, it's like a NewTek will come up with some more distance.
Yeah.
An assembly, or is it some kind of special script file, or what are we talking about?
It's in some sort of special script file.
It's toaster file. It's not something you can manipulate right now.
No, well, I mean, you may be able to. I haven't really tried it because unfortunately this thing crashes enough on its own that I don't need it to help. And it also has digital effects, some real good ones. Where let me set this up. I gotta go to there we go. If I bring it down more.
Wow.
So this is your famous golf swings. If you go slow enough, it has digital trails on black. That was digital trails on white. Digital trails on black, which anything that's black, which is not going to be my arm in this case. But if Rob walks in front of the video, slowly. Just walk in front because it's grabbing your shirt.
I don't think he grabbed anything because I didn't want to blind.
Well, there's you.
The arms are in there.
So you can do some real neat effects. It has built-in color bars.
So that's how the Mets did it.
That's how the Mets did it. Built-in color bars. It has a built-in small window display. So you can do your television news stuff, and you can put video in there.
Yeah, put live video.
I'll put my video out of here first. You put live video in there. And somebody will move in front of this camera. It combines effects. You can do dissolve and a push. Dissolves on colors. It has full linear keying built in. I'll show you some of the ones that impress a lot of people. These are, I don't know why, but
I'm impressed.
why? Mosaics.
So does the
Slow those down a little.
Yeah, slow down.
Not bad.
Let's see, yes.
Can you make them go really slow?
No, you have
Well, you
three
can control them
presets.
yourself also.
Yeah, oh,
Manual.
well, I'm sorry, yeah. You can't make them go really slow, because you have full manual control.
You do everything.
Oh, yeah, you have a T-bar. It's right here. And
So you can go through the effect, you can stop anywhere you want.
you can stop anywhere you want, and I want to peel this page half to 3/4 of the way.
Is it possible to hook up a manual T-bar rather than a video T-bar? Or?
Not now, although this will accept GPI triggers.
It's also
So-
cost.
Yes, this also will send some out basic dissolves. It has trails, digital trails. We'll slow those down. These are some of the digital video effects the Toaster Git provides. Yeah, it's too fast.
Want to do a key?
Yeah, sure, we can do some keys. Do flips and trails.
Can you do chroma keying kind of stuff?
No,
You can do chroma keying, but you can do luminance keying, which I guess Rob should show you now. If Rob will get in front of the toaster. Let's see, we'll key over. Doing it back, as you can see, we can selectively key out on a luminance key, which means on a shade of white or black, we can generate a key. So if you could do like blue screen, like television news effects, it would just have to be against a white wall. And the only basic difference, this has a real good key built in, the only basic difference is that, and why they came out with the chroma key, is it's not as clean as a chroma key. And basically it's tough because on a certain color, it's very easy not to wear puke green. But it's very hard not to have something that's white, so that's basically why they have that. But let's see, we have a white wall back there. We can switch our key to white, and then
Is anyone wearing a truly white shirt?
It's not
Truly white.
Rinse
on it.
over blue.
besides
Hold up that soft link bag over there.
as you can
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
it basically cuts out. If somebody moves, the video is actually behind. So
Try the,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
why don't you try the bag and see if it works?
see, it's very tough because as people say, you could, if there was a news, you could feed in from one camera. You could feed in the news, which your weather map would be back here, and the people pointing to it would be right here.
See if it works.
Well, you could hang up a white,
Yes, if you
photo white background.
Yeah,
and,
if you hung up a photo white background and wore everything in
Color,
colors,
yeah.
it's perfect, and that's the way NewTek does its demo tape. Or if you wanted to go with total black, you could set this. You have a variable key. All I have to do is click on this in the mouse controls, which hue of white or black I cut out.
So the same thing can be done with a gray background or whatever
Yes,
colors.
it can be anything in the range.
What about, would colors end up coming in at the same luminance? That you might have a problem with certain shades of color with...
It is a luminance, so you're,
Yeah.
a bright green, a real bright green, could be
Right.
interpreted as white. So your best bet is just to use like a real bright white. That's what they usually do in the NewTek. The key over 1 this time.
or if
Also, if you make it gray, you have to bring it down to a certain level, and everything, like, if you were going with white, anything that was brighter than that gray would also be keyed.
Mhm.
So you have to make it like one of the two extremes, either really bright or really
You
dark.
use a really white and wear all dark colors, no really brilliant green or reds or anything like that that's going to come out with the luminance of white.
Key, take out the white there. And as you can see, it also depends on how you have it lit too. So you can punch out the people behind. Some of the other things, it has a video wall effects built in. We take the keying off. And this is all controllable through the mouse. I'm running out of mouse pad here, so.
Go to the picture.
Okay, you have digital frame store. Okay. Digital frame store, which means that you can combine pictures, you can freeze pictures and save them, it will digitize them. This is something that NewTek did with some 3D and their paint package, and so most of this is actually drawn and frozen. have a familiar picture here that I grabbed off the television signal. That's pretty good considering it came off a transferred cable signal. And then you can do your effects between these.
And it doesn't jiggle.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect freeze.
That's because it does motion removal also when you freeze something.
Where is that actually saved? It's
Hard
save
drive.
that to disk, or
You can save that to RAM. You can save that to disk. Either two places.
how large file would that create?
700K. So they are large. Is one of the reasons why you can't do 24-bit animation. Let's see here.
Is it compressible? The file?
Not at
destroying
these means
anything?
yet. I haven't really tried it. This is something that it took me like about 20 minutes to draw in Toaster Paint, which is their paint package. So.
Do you have any Toaster Paint pictures?
No, they haven't. Well, the two you saw, then this one, I haven't really done that much yet, because the machine is in use most of the time. Let me get rid of that. You can set your background colors. The matte generator will generate any color of the color bars. Your border can also be any color. It will also generate, as you saw at Video Snow, it generates it itself.
Video Blizzard.
Video Blizzard. Switch here between DV1. I lost it. No.
Generate its own commercials.
No, but it makes it real easy for you to generate.
Speaking of commercial, let's bring up the character generator.
Okay. Let's get a decent video. Yeah. To bring up any of the toaster slices, you click twice on them. Now we'll go into the character generator so you can see the quality of the character generator.
Slices of sub-modules.
Oh, excellent. And we have and that is the toaster. Actually, let me flip to yeah. There. Down to 2.
Give the demo.
Yes, I do. So now we're going to bring up some character generator.
What fonts does it use? Its own, or?
Yeah, I'll bring up some pages, and it has fonts. You can use any Amiga font. There's a conversion program built in that will use any Amiga font.
That includes color fonts.
Does it smooth them, or what does it do?
Yes, it transfers them into, it smooths them to as well as it can. I mean, it's basically the way the font's drawn. It can't add more information than that's previously there. It will automatically anti-alias them, so they may not look, they'll look pretty good. There's none of those loaded in, but I'll show you some of the fonts that they have built in. They're pretty impressive. Okay. There's 5 different kind of pages in the Video Toaster Character Generator. There's the first page you saw, which is standard frame page. That will overlay your text. It works like a standard Amiga character generator with a genlock. It'll take the text that you do and overlay it over live video. You also have what's called the frame page, where the toaster will generate backgrounds automatically for you. You set the colors, you tell it how you want it ramped, and it'll automatically do a real smooth job of ramping it. Now these pages don't get keyed over, but can be used in any of the toaster's effect. So if I go here, pages can be brought in. And that's a frame page.
Frame pages always jitter like that?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It really depends. I mean, our input and output's only as good as the cameras we're using now. And although this one's a good camera, that one really isn't. We're slaving everything to that.
No, I just meant the text looked like it was jittering around.
Well, it's basically because of
because of the lock.
Yeah, because of the lock, which we really don't have.
Right.
Plus, this is still in Gamma. The new software I'm getting in Monday is going to, from what I understand, produce a far better picture than even this.
How old is the software you have?
A month. Yeah. But this stuff is. Here's another frame page. The purpose of this, for people who are interested in character generation, is to see how clean. This is true 35 nanosecond professional quality character generation. These are built in to Amiga Toaster's character generator. There's what's called Chroma cards. and it has these and a bunch more of little objects that, you know, normally.
Clipboard type.
Yeah, it's kind of like a clipboard. It's what Chirons use to do logos and stuff like that. You can create stuff and use them as you would in a Chiron as a logo. As you can see, the text is absolutely perfectly clean. And I mean, you're not going to get smaller and more curved than that. Okay. It also does credit rolls.
Wow, that's very good.
You have 4 speeds. You can have all kinds of effects happen on this.
The Twin Peaks cast. This is a fast speed right now, right?
Yeah, this is at a fairly fast speed. I'm gonna slow it down to a more decent speed. Now, the Zedge Internet, unlike every other program, even the Chiron, to do a page like this, you're limited to your memory of the machine. For instance, in most other character generation packages, you have to go for each scroll page. You have to go in to do the page, go to the next page, compose that page, go to the next page. To do it in the toaster, you just type away. When you're finished, you're finished. If you have 100 pages of credits and you have 100 pages worth of memory, which a basic 5 meg system will have, you can type until you reach the end of your credit roll, save it, and then just run it at that speed.
How much memory is on the boards?
So the horizontal.
That I don't know. They keep what they don't really tell you. They don't give you really any specs. Okay.
There's got to be tons on there though.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
You say it's its own computer, what processor does it use?
It's using all custom VSLI chips. Okay, there we go.
That's the vertical clean.
Yeah. It's using its own custom chips.
The horizontal.
Yes, you're going to that. Sorry. Whoa! A little bit fast there, huh?
You have control over shadows, transparent shadows.
We control the vertical, we control the horizontal. We can turn your balance into a soft blur.
Once again, with scrolls, you can have scrolls in 2 positions. You can have it mid-screen, you can have it on the lower port of the screen. And once again, like in the crawl pages, it's unlimited. You don't have to sit and compose every page. You compose, if you want, you just compose entire, most like Pro Video Post, I'm not sure of some of the others, you're limited to a certain line or one full page of scrolls. Poster is thoroughly unlimited. For color fonts, let's get out of this. Okay, let's go to a page. This is fine. Everything is done through the function keys, just like it is in Pro Video Poster, most of the other programs. So we're going to load in. These are the fonts that come standard with it. Casual. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's quite a few, as you can see. Italics, most every font you would want.
And you can add any Amiga font. You can use any Amiga font.
You can use any Amiga font.
Which means that you can convert fonts from other programs into Amiga fonts, like
Right.
Pro Pages fonts are now convertible to Amiga font.
Right, so yeah, and you can use any of those.
Yeah, well,
Fonts are not a problem. It's just
you say the system will not work with the 3000, but it will work with 2.0?
I haven't really played with it that much under 2.0 because it runs really under itself. It basically, you can set up, when you get the toaster, it provides installation disks. The installation disks can set up your Amiga so that it goes right into the toaster. So you basically don't have to worry about any of the Amiga operating system.
like 8 discs, you said, right?
Yeah, now it goes to 12.
12.
So I'm going to just...
Congratulations on your new hard drive.
How big is the hard drive you need, and do you have to max out the memory on the computer?
I agree with those.
How big a hard drive do you need? The bigger the better. Obviously, you need... it comes on 8 disks, so you need at least 8 to 10 megs of free space on your hard drive.
Plus, if you want to store anything.
Plus, if you want to store anything, it's...
798.
As for the RAM, this machine is 7 megs, I think you said?
This has 7 megs now, and it could use more, but you could get by with 5 megs. People have run the toaster on 3 meg machines.
For like 5 seconds.
Okay, test fits.
This does automatic kerning and all that stuff. It's truly a professional character generator.
Now, a few people like to come out. These are built-in color fonts, and
I don't believe you can actually scroll the color fonts.
I'm not. Yes, you can scroll color fonts, but you can't. You can't have shadow. You're limited with shadow. There's the 3D package. 3D package is real good too. And we crash. Welcome to the first crash of the night. While this is rebooting, does anybody have any questions?
How about sound, music? Can it generate it?
No, it doesn't do. It has nothing to do with audio at this point.
Just visual.
Right. Although they claim that in an upcoming version, they're going to have a digital sound built into.
That's due out in '94, right? That's due out in
Keep in mind,
'94.
this whole toaster is still an upcoming version.
Yeah,
That's right, that's what I'm talking about.
actually, according to NewTek, it'll be here in 2 weeks. So.
3 or 4 years.
What will be here in 2
Didn't they say
weeks?
it a couple years ago?
But it'll work in about 5 years.
Does anybody have any questions? Or
Yeah, on the 3D program,
Yes.
I heard a rumor that once you've specified the number of objects in a scene, you can't delete any objects afterwards.
no, that's not true. Well, okay. That is true, and it's not true. Once you specify the number of objects in the scene, you can't delete individual objects. You can delete them all and start afresh. But what the beauty of it is that they know that although it's real good, it's real good. It's one of the best I've seen in terms of what it can do. It's by no means in terms of rendering, it's the best of what I've seen. But in terms of the rest of 3D, there's better. Right now, it'll work with Sculpt.
What's the method?
So that you can compose and do everything you want to do within Sculpt 3D, 4D.
And just output 24-bit.
And it'll just output it in 24-bit. But the beauty of it is that you can compose just, regular objects in Sculpt 3D and 4D, bring them into there, and texture map them, surface map them, do all the real high-end rendering, set the qualities from,
No problem.
But to move it to tape, you need a single frame controller,
to do animation to tape, you need a single frame control. Right.
which runs about
300 to 700 for a real good one. Photon Paint makes a transport controller that's really good. And what the toaster's doing right now is syncing up. It's analyzing the signals. This takes about 2 minutes with the current software. Yes. Any other questions?
Great effect.
There's 128 effects built in. And you can customize some of those by adding Chroma effects, or there's another way to do it, but that hasn't been, the manual is as sketchy as the software at this point. So I'm sure there's a lot more that can be done with this.
Showmaker makes this big thing about if you have a software programmable genlock, you can access Showmaker can control the genlock and fade things in and out at the right part of it.
Right, the newer software will have that.
So it would be probably
By the time that most of you, does anybody have a toaster here?
waiting.
If anybody has one in order, the software you're going to be getting probably will have software control for the genlock built in. Although at ABC they put this up on the vectors, they put it through all the scopes. And there was one small vertical shift which no one thought was a real big deal, and they were as critical as anybody I could ever imagine would be. Yeah, you'll know. They're amazingly critical. And they were impressed. So that's a real good sign.
Yeah, we have to play with Oprah.
Yes, we got to play with Oprah for the day.
For mine?
I don't think so. We made her skinny, so.
And she says, I suffered to get this one.
If everybody's interested, I can go into, I'll load up the 3D program. The toaster paint is all right, but if anybody has DPaint 3, Digipaint 3, that's what it is, just in 24-bit. If I load it up, I'll probably upset a lot of people because it's a real pain to use. It's not really a great painting package yet. Although you can do stuff like this.
That was done in a
Well, that was done with
Theoretically.
it, but theoretically, yeah. The balls were done through the 3D package. And let's try this again.
It's like when you're in the paint program, the whole thing is blowing up because the Amiga is in like low res. So this is in
1074.
Yeah. So you're only seeing a small portion of the screen at any one time. It's scrolling it all around when you're
let's
painting.
see.
So it's like you can't really see what you're doing. It's a pain. Let's just leave it at that.
Actually, the toaster can go up to 1536 by 960 in resolution.
Can you take a 256 like grayscale picture that you've scanned in from some other source, paint in it, like say cut it out from the background,
Yes.
or or 24-bit?
You can do whatever you can do in DigiPaint.
So you could take an object, cut it out from the background, and then save it with a white background.
Yes. Yeah. Let me cut out of this. Let me go through this. But yeah, you can do that. You can do anything you do in DigiPaint. You could do with this. Let's load up our scene. This is basically how you start, which is called LightWave, which is the 3D program on here. I'm going to go to Objects. The modeler on here is okay, it's not great. Sculpt and Imagine, of course, have better modelers. What they tell you in the manual, which is a real nice way of putting it, is they've included every object that you could ever possibly think of having.
Yeah.
So, with that out of the way, we'll load up something.
Don't order a pencil again.
The pencil comes out nice.
I don't order a pencil again.
You don't like the pencil. Well, let me show the pencil, then I'll load something else. Here, we'll load up the pencil. The pencil is
Load up the F-15.
F-15 doesn't render. He set it up so you would have to render differently. I'll load up a couple of things. But considering that I know that this thing crashes a good amount. Yeah, it's once again it's crashed.
Adios.
Well, this is part of what's happened with the gallery.
Memory list.
Hmm?
I looked up that groove.
Oh, really? So as this is doing this again, this is right now.
Why does it do that?
It's something wrong with this version of the software.
Software is gamma still. I mean,
Software is gamma still,
Yeah.
and I don't have this problem loading to a SCSI drive. I only have this problem. This is an older 2500, and it has an MFM drive. And I have a lot of problems with the toaster on demos like this. Unfortunately, I hate to yank.
It's probably not fast enough.
It probably is. It's something to that effect. It doesn't have that many problems at all.
It's either the driver or the 2090, so it's a combination of either
Is it
or.
2090 or 90A?
The 2090A.
Do you have
It's
it
still-
set
it's-
the
Still 2090.
set patch program?
Yeah,
Down the drive, the PD program?
Yeah, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a bug. It doesn't have any problem with SCSI.
What's the minimum memory requirements to run the toaster?
They say 5 megs, and people have done it with 3. So,
Haven't done this cheap.
yes, memory is cheap. It doesn't have to be 32-bit. Actually, we'll try the 3D later, but actually, if you would want to come up and play with it, once it loads up, it's a good time.
I got a question about something. As it's